With Zapdos, you all know we strike blows and smack foes. Weak basics, well now go into this card. It does show that 84-1 energy gets us prize cards quite easily. And Electropower is OP, the damage output is crazy. See, we also bring some friends along. Tapu Koko GX can be quite strong, like a deck theme still the break of dawn. I guess you can say we already won with that cards like Buzzwole, Nihilego just to finish the ball. Jirachi is our consistency call, and then we scream out, Thunder Assault! Yeah! Episode 206, Zapdos review, and all deck variants. Yeah! What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to episode 206 on my channel. As you know, on my channel you always get the latest TCG information and best new decks in town, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out. In this video, I'm very happy to announce that we're going to be talking about the new Zapdos card. This is a Japanese scan that I printed out from Limitless TCG, so you can get your proxies set up like this. I also made a video about how to make proxies for yourself, but this is all about Zapdos, and this is not an English scan because we don't have access to them, but I'm definitely going to talk about Zapdos in particular. This comes out, of course, on the 1st of February with the new set Team Up, and Zapdos will be one of the main forces and the new one of the new decks that people have to prepare for because this is going to be very, very huge. Why is Zapdos such an amazing card? Well, first we're going to review this card and we're going to talk about every single option that we can have with Zapdos. Okay. It is a 110 HP Pokemon that might not seem like a lot since there's of course Zoroark with Righteous Beating, but of course it is all about its attack. It only has one attack, Assault Thunder, and this attack deals 10 damage, but if Zapdos came from the bench during this turn, you can just deal an additional 70 damage. That means 80 damage as soon as your second turn if you go second. So actually on your first turn if you go second, that is just insane. That means you can just hit 80 damage immediately. The only thing you'll need is a Lightning Energy and you're good to go. The good thing about that is that you're hitting, all the weak basics are going down. Think about Zoroark, Rowlet, Alolan Vulpix, what else do we have there? Grubbin, Strubbish. Everything that has to evolve will go down. Think about Slugma, Schnubble, everything that has to evolve will eventually go down. So that's why Zapdos is so good, picking off cheeky prize cards out of those weak basics. Not only that, we have access to Electropower, which I'm going to show soon in the item departments. First we're going to talk about Zapdos, but now that I think about it, let's just do this immediately so you see the full potential of this card. So we have a Zapdos. You can boost the damage output by just getting yourself an Electropower. Electropower dishes out an additional 30 damage if you play it this turn, and you can play multiples of, let's say, use 2 Electropowers. That is just not too hard to pull off since we're gonna have consistency cards that I'm gonna talk about soon, and also we have Voltner that can search it out. So in combination with like a choice band, this Zapdos will be dishing out an additional 90 damage to a GX, and 90 damage plus the 80 damage, that's 170 damage. So you could be one-shotting Tapu Lele GX with just 1 energy, or if we go even overboard, you can just do that for 0 energies with the Thunder Mountain Prism Star. This states that you need 1 lightning energy less to use your attacks. So this is just insane, and that's why Zapdos is so good. What else is good about Zapdos is that it pairs so well with a lot of other lightning type Pokemon. You'll definitely want to have at least 2 Zapdos in your lightning deck if you ever want to be playing a lightning deck. Not only does it bring the resistance of fighting to your lightning deck, it also comes back with the early game pressure that you're always gonna have by your side, and just getting rid of weak cheeky KOs here. The weak basics is just so huge. Let's say they get out a Mudkip in a deck, well, you just Guzma that out and get rid of the draw support entirely. It is weak to lightning. Also, you should know is that this attack, Assault Lightning, is not actually Assault Thunder is not affected by weakness, so you cannot be one-shotting Zapdoses with that. The thing you will need is an Electropower to just one-shot on an opposing Zapdos. The thing here is it deals 80 damage without weakness, so that is just fantastic. The 2 retreat cost is a little bit so that's why we're going to be running lots of switching cards in order to just reset this attack. It reminds us a lot of the Golisopod GX with, of course, first impression, but this is a basic, easy searchable, and now I'm going to show you what the deck is all about. So Zapdos, what Pokemon are gonna be amazing with this? So as you can see, we have Electropowers by our side, we have Choice Band. First, I'm gonna talk about the Stadium cards of choice. There's a lot of Stadium cards that you can choose from because Zapdos is just so versatile. There is 4 Stadium cards I'm gonna talk about here, and that's going to be Shrine of Punishment, Aether's Paradise Conservation Area, the Potown and Thunder Mountain. So you have 4 options as your main stadium of choice. If you want to be playing a little bit defensively, Eater's Paradise might be an option. Potown if you want to get that extra 3 damage counters on an evolving Pokemon. Let's say you're facing something like a Zoroark, their HP will be reduced to 180, so that's also an option. Shrine of Punishment is of course an option because this is a non-GX that dishes out so much damage. With Shrine you can even hit bigger numbers, and Thunder Mountain is just great in every lightning deck. So yeah, either pick a combination of these. In my personal preference, I do like 1 Thunder Mountain and 2 Shrine of Punishment, but that could be different for you. So that is that department. Choose your stadium card of choice and then you're good to go. So in my regard, I'm gonna be picking those 2. Next up, we're going to talk about some more Pokemon in this deck. We know that Zapdos is our early game lead, but how do we get our Electropowers and all that good stuff out of the deck? Well, that is where Jirachi comes in. Jirachi here is a 70 HP basic Pokemon with an amazing ability. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a trainer card you find there, put it in your hand, and shuffle the remaining cards back into your deck. This states trainer card. That means you can get out a stadium, you can get out a supporter, and you can get out an item. So it all depends on the situation. And then Jirachi falls asleep. I don't know if it's to the right side or the left side. Doesn't matter. It falls asleep, and then you could just have a flip a coin between turns if it stays in the active position. But we're not gonna do that. This is going to be fantastic. Let's say you don't have a supporter. I wish I had a Cynthia. Well, bam! Sometimes there will be a Cynthia on top of the 5 cards that you're looking at, and that's going to be fine. Sometimes you're just searching out your Electropower. Let's say, oh, I just need 1 Electropower, and I have a 1-hit KO. Well, this Jirachi will hopefully find it out for you. So Jirachi is gonna be our main starter of choice, and Jirachi is the best friend of Jirachi is of course Escape Board. There's a lot of switching cards in a deck with Zapdos, so that's the first card I'm gonna talk about. Escape Board. Let me just talk about it a little bit. This is going to be a tool card that you can equip to your Pokemon, and it states that the Pokemon this card is attached to has 1 cardless energy less to retreat, and it can also retreat if it's asleep. So that's perfect. If the Jirachi falls asleep after using its wonderful ability, you can just get rid of the retreat cost and even retreat while it's asleep, so you can just swap into your Zapdos. The thing you will do most likely is attach of the turn, then use the ability, get an Electropower, retreat because it's asleep, and bam! You can just smack for so much damage here on the first turn. That means all the weak basics go down as mentioned. That is fantastic. And what else is going to be very good in a Zapdos deck? Well, we're going to talk about some more partners here. First, I'm going to talk about the Tapu Koko Prism Star. Also another Japanese can here. Yeah, thanks for Limitless TCG for providing these. This is going to be Tapu Koko Prism Star. It has an ability, and that states once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may put it into the Lost Zone, discard all cards attached to it, and if it's in the Lost Zone, you can just get 2 energies from your discard pile and attach 1 energy to 2 of your bench Pokemon. So it's basically like the Volcanion back in the days of Steam Siege. So energy acceleration, but this is an ability. So let's say you just smack this down, and after a while you just decide, oh, I need some energies. Well, you could just put this in the Lost Zone and get 2 energies immediately. How powerful is this? Well, let's say we get out another Zapdos for the memes of it. And let's say there are 2 energies in the discard pile. We have 2 energies in the discard pile. Let's just equip this choice band while we can. We already used Electropower. No bother of putting it over there. Well, this is our discard pile. We cannot have 2 stadium cards. Let's say, yeah, Shrine is in play, or nah, Thunder Mountain is a little bit better here in this scenario. So you smack this down, and once during our turn, we can just rely on the ability. And let's say we do that, we can get 2 energies from our discard pile and attach them to yeah, our Pokemon. You have to select 2 of them and attach 1 energy to each of them. So this Pokemon now goes into the Lost Zone. This is gone forever. You cannot get that back. But now we have lots of energies in play. And what can we do with that scenario? Well, we could be playing Tapu Koko GX. This is an amazing GX from Guardians Rising. Saw a little bit of play, niche play, and Tapu Bulu decks throughout its career. But now it's gonna be a huge Pokemon. Why is that? Well, it has the Arrow Trail, first of all. Once during our turn, if we smack it down on the bench, we may move any lightning energy from our other Pokemon to this Pokemon. If you do, switch this Pokemon to the active position. So, in theory, we just smack it down and it gets all the energies on field, goes to the active position. Now we have access to 2 attacks. Sky High Claws deals 130 damage, enough to just one-shot any one-prize attacker, unless you're facing like Regigigas. And then even we have Electropower. So, it's an attack here. Tapu Thunder GX. It's what it's all about. It dishes out 50 damage for the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Why is this good? Think about Tag Team GXs. What is one thing they have all in common? They need a bazillion amount of energies, and that's why Tapu Koko GX will see huge amount of play with Zapdos. This is the perfect partner mid-game or late game. We have our Zapdos. This is going to be early game pressure, knocking out weak bases or two-shotting GXs. Then this guy comes in, let's say, oh my god, there's a tag team GX on the opponent's side of the field. It has like 5 energies, let's say a Venusaur or whatever. Well, 5 energies? Sounds good to me. You just smack Tapu Koko down, go into the active position with all those energies in play with a Choice Band or Electropower, even one-shot things like the Venusaur and Celebi tag team. Not only that, it has great synergy, of course, with the ability of the Tapu Koko Prism Star, and it one-shots all of the opposing Pokemon that rely on energy acceleration. Think about Malamar decks. Bam! Lots of energies in play. Rayquaza decks. Bam! Yeah. Quagsire decks. So a lot of Pokemon will be running lots of energies nowadays, and Tapu Koko will be your rescue. You just bench it down like this. Then you can get all the energies you want. Bam! You can get it to the active position, and that's how it works. So you can just have this Tapu Koko set up in no time, thanks to the wonderful ability of Tapu Koko Prism Star. What else are we going to talk about? So we have lots of valuable attackers now. We have our early game, we have our mid to late game, and now we need like a finishing sweeper or anything of that sort. Well, I have a couple of options in mind here. I do think Nihilego deserves a mention here. With Nightcap, you can use this attack only if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon and use it as this attack. How crazy is that? Well, that is Trickster GX potential. You can just copy any attack. Let's say, yeah, a crazy attack of a tag team GX. You can use that for a single energy if the opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. And we can definitely make sure that the opponent has 2 prize cards remaining because we're typically a 1 prize attacking deck. And that's where we're relying on Tapu Koko GX. So how do we power this amazing Pokemon up? Well, that's where Unit Energy comes into play. Unit Energy is an energy that has saw a little bit of play, and of course Garbodor decks, Garbodor Zoroark decks, but this time around it's going to be fantastic. With this Unit Energy, you provide a Psychic Energy or a Lightning Energy, so you can still attach it to your Zapdos and do your typical stuff with Assault Thunder, but not only that, in the late game, you can just get this energy onto a Nihilego and use the Nightcap to copy anything. This is going to be your late game sweeper. You only need to have like a couple of prize cards left or whatever. You can even copy GX moves of tag teams. That's how powerful this Nightcap is, and copying a GX move is great. Of course, we have the Tapu Thunder as our GX move, but you don't always use that, and the Nihilego here can also copy GX moves, so that's going to be very, very powerful. Even if you don't like running special energies, let's say I'm not a big fan of it, people are starting to run more Enhanced Hammer and stuff. There's also another Pokemon I'd like to mention in this video, and that is going to be Buzzwole. Baby Buzzwole is fantastic. You could be running a Rainbow Energy to just get the attack outs for Zapdos and of course Buzzwole. That is an option you could go for, but then you receive 1 damage counter. How can you do that with a simple 1 fighting energy in your deck? How do we get this rolling? Well, this is going to be Sledgehammer here. If the opponent has exactly 4 prize cards remaining, you dish out 120. This is a Zoroark eating machine. That's why it's going to sometimes be paired with Zapdos here. Early game lead, and then if the opponent has taken down like 2 Zapdos, you come in with Buzzwole. Or maybe they one-shot with Jirachi. That could be the case because it only has 70 HP. How do we get this going? Well, let me just get 1 card on board here. We have Rainbow Brush. I don't know, I usually don't talk about Rainbow Brush because I never saw any play, but seeing as the Japanese people are starting to try out Rainbow Brush, it's going to be fantastic talking about this card. Choose an energy card attached to one of your Pokemon, search your deck for a basic energy and switch it with this card. So, how do we get this rolling? Well, of course, this deck runs on Volkner. Volkner is the main supporter of this deck, and a Volkner will get yourself an item card and a lightning energy. So that means, if you smack it down, you can get a lightning energy from your deck, ta-da, and you can get your Rainbow Brush. So what you do here is simply attach, use the Rainbow Brush, bam, because you can get it out with Volkner, and then you swap your energy with Buzzwole. That could be a way to set your Buzzwole up. This is a fantastic idea here because that way you can just get rid of Zoroarks and everything else that is weak to fighting. Not only that, it dishes out 120 damage with Choice Band and Shrine. It'll definitely be hitting for crazy numbers. Why am I talking about Volkner so much? Well, the early game phase most of the time will be, yeah, this is going to be Guzma together with Nazball. This is going to be the main combo you're going to be using here. This is going to be Nazball, and you will be, most of the times, will be grabbing an energy and a Nazball. Volkner can get out of Zapdos and an energy thanks to this strategy, and that will be most likely your very first turn. So that's why I think 4 Voltners is definitely a must. You can cut it down to 3 if you want, but now we're gonna talk about some more Pokemon. So now that we talked about Buzzwole, Nihilego, you all have your options ready. Just gonna lay them over here. It's not even an official match, but this is going to be your tech cards. Talking about more tech cards, this will be your tech card of choice. Why are we going to be doing this? As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, both yours and your opponent's Pokemon do not have any abilities on their Prism Star cards. Why is this crazy? Well, we do run the Tapu Koko Prism Star, but sometimes you want to get this out because people will be running lots of Alolan Muck. And why is Alolan Muck a problem? Yeah, you guessed it, Jirachi. Jirachi is the main draw engine of the deck, and you definitely want to be running 4 copies of this fantastic card. The good news is that Zapdos and Jirachi both are available as pre-release promos, and this Jirachi is going to get out your everything you want. Your supporter, maybe your stadium card, maybe Electropower, all the good stuff. Jirachi, as soon as a Pokemon goes down, you promote Jirachi, get your stuff done. Not only that, this deck runs a lot of switching cards, so you can even sometimes use 2 Jirachi abilities in one single turn, and that is going to be fantastic. I do think that is, yeah, I think I have to check out the English translation, but I do think you can use 2 of those Jirachi abilities. I have to check that, but that is going to be fantastic here. So we have our another tech card here. Is going to be Wobbuffet. Next, I'm going to talk about some more attackers. We have, of course, people that like to run Zeraora, Jolteon, and Zebstrika. Zeraora is nice. It has comes back with the Thunderclap Zone. Each player, yeah. Let me just recheck that. Each of your Pokemon that has a lightning energy attached to it has free retreat. So in theory, if you have an energy to your Zapdos, it has free retreat, and then you can swap into Zapdos and infinitely. That's going to be great. Not only that, it comes back with full voltage GX, very great against stall decks, and Plasma Fist can be just powered up with Tapu Koko Prism Star, 1 energy, and the Thunder Mound. So this can come out of nowhere. Plasma Fist getting a huge one-hit KO. So that's why people are also running that. Things that are also going to be part here is going to be Jolteon. This is going to be available this Friday in collection boxes. Definitely get a couple of copies. The usual amount is 2 copies of Jolteon. We have the Eevee from Sun and Moon Energy Evolution ability, which means if you attach an energy to Eevee, you can swap immediately from the deck into this Jolteon. Bam! And then you can just have, of course, your first attack, Lightning Bullet. Deals 30 damage to the active and 30 to the bench. With Electropowers, you could be doing like crazy shenanigans. It reminds me a lot of Buzzwole with Jet Punch. You have, of course, its second attack, 110. And then its GX move is also 110, but then you cannot get damaged or affected by anything during your next turn, so you become invincible. So very nice. It also has free retreat, very synergible with, of course, Zapdos. So lots of lightning Pokemon at your disposal. Next is going to be Zebstrika. Zebstrika, why is this good? Remember Lucario GX evolving and dishing out 120? Well, this is the exact same thing with this card. If you evolve from Blitzle during your turn, bam, you dish out 120 damage. Easy settable, thanks to, of course, the Tapu Koko Prism Star. Get an energy to it, evolve, attach to the turn, free retreat thanks to a switch, escape rope, or whatever, and bam, 120. Why is 120 better than the 80 that Zapdos is dishing? Well, that could be like with an Electropower and a choice, and already 180. And a lot of things go down with 180. Think about Tapu Lele, Blacephalon, etc. So that's why this is also sometimes part of the deck. People also want to try out some different stuff sometimes, and that is, of course, this card, the Pikachu and Zekrom GX, but this is kind of like a different build. We're going to talk about this card in a separate video because it's going to be a differently built deck. This is going to be mainly focused on Zapdos, Jirachi, and then the tech cards around it. So don't forget about this card. This is also going to be paired, but of course, Zapdos is going to be in the deck like this. Next up, since we are going to be running Blitzle, sometimes if you run this guy, you might as well run 1 copy of this to just get yourself sprint going. Sometimes this can help you search out your Electropowers when you need them. You could also be cutting a Blitzle and running a Ditto here. Sometimes I've also seen people run Macargo here to just have, of course, the smooth over ability, with making sure that you can just put anything you want on top and Jirachi can then draw it out. Everything is possible with a deck like this. And then, of course, sometimes people run like a one-off of Tapu Lele GX. Marshadow is also something you can consider because that way you disrupt your opponent's hand. But I've never seen a winning list with Marshadow, but people might just try it out. Okay, now that we talked about all the Pokemon and the tech cards and stuff, let's talk about the main supporters of choice. Alright, what we are going to be running here is going to be Voltner. Voltner is definitely going to be part of a deck like this. This all depends on what you want to be playing here, but Voltner, I definitely recommend 4 copies of that. Cynthia and Lily. It all depends here, but I would be running a combination of 4 in total. You could be also running like 1 copy of Judge. I've also seen people running Kukui, so there's a lot of options here with the Zapdos deck. Kukui will get you that extra 20 damage. The Judge will disrupt your opponent's hand, but you definitely need some draw support. But be sure you have a combination of this like with 4 or 5 draw supporters except for the Voltner. That way your deck will be running itself thanks to Jirachi here. But I do like these. These are something I don't run yet, but I haven't tested them out. But Professor Kukui can definitely get you the extra numbers that you want. And disrupting your opponent's hand is something I always love to do. Another supporter that you might be thinking about is going to be Bill's Analysis. You can look at the top 7 cards of your deck and select 2 trainer cards you find and put them into your hand. So pretty much like the ability of Jirachi, but you can take 2 cards and that can definitely be your search mechanic for Electropower. Sometimes you want to have a point where you need that Electropower, you use Jirachi, then you use this and you have like multiple Electropowers to get 1-hit KOs. I've seen Bill's Analysis work in a deck like this. Alright, another thing you might consider here, nah, we're not gonna talk about more supporters. I think that is just plenty enough, but definitely don't forget about Marsh in a deck like this. Okay, next up, supporters, Guzma. 3 to 4 copies of Guzma. I do think 4 copies is even better because with this, you can target anything you want. It synergizes so much with Zapdos, with the Thunder Assault and actually the Assault Thunder. And you definitely want to have this to hunt on the weak basics. So Guzma, definitely a key part of the deck. And then we're gonna talk about the item cards. Item cards are very important in the deck, and this is no different here. 4 Nazballs, I'm not gonna just say like 3 or what, you need 4 of those. Then Ultra Ball is also a part of the deck, maybe 2 to 3, maybe. I think 2 is just perfect, but you can just lower or up it depending on your playstyle. Next up, we're gonna talk about Electropower. This is also one of those must here. Electropower, I would be running personally, and every Zapdos deck you need 4 copies of Electropower. This will help you out dishing out those numbers to get 1-hit KOs, so definitely be running 4 copies of that. Moving forward, we're also going to talk about the escape mechanics here. The thing you want here, of course, a skateboard. There's already attached one of them to the Jirachi. I would be running 2 more to be running 3 escape boards. So that's all personal preference really. Then of course switches, 3 of those. Yeah, 3 of those switches to just get out of the active position because Zapdos has a 2 retreat cost. Jirachi can search out to switch. You definitely need lots of switching options. I am personally running 3 switches, 1 escape rope and 3 escape board. Then for some recovery, 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher. Zapdos will go down easily, Jirachi will go down easily. You need ways to get them back. Not only that, Tapu Koko GX, sometimes you have to discard it thanks to an Ultra Ball because there's something you definitely want to get out. This is going to be a way to get your Pokemon back. Then Choice Band, I would be running 2 to 3 copies. So in this list, I am running 2 copies. If you want more information about the list, definitely check out Limitless TCG and check out the tournament results. Then an Energy Lotto, I think, is also neat. To just, if you're having these tech cards like Nihilego or Buzzwole, Energy Lotto can definitely help out a lot. And of course, you'll be running the unit energies if you're running the Nihilego or the one fighting energy with the Rainbow Brush if you're running Buzzwole. Anyhow, this I think this is all for this video here. This all is personal preference. This deck is just so good. It is tearing up Japanese tournaments throughout yeah, entire Japan. Everybody's just playing Zapdos either with Jolteon or maybe with Tapu Koko and Jirachi. It all depends on your playstyle, but this deck is very good. Check out the Zapdos deck in action. I'll be making more content soon, so if you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe for more content, and let me know how you are going to be playing Zapdos. I sure am going to be playing Zapdos and trying everything out in the format, so Zapdos is going to be a top tier deck. It's definitely a top tier deck. Look out for it at your tournaments starting at the mid of February. And that'll be, yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Yeah, that's it for this video. Peace out, man.
If you wanna go and test a deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in my brain. Where is my